Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm finally going to do part 4 to my Meta AI Chatbot series, where in today's video guys, we're going to do one of the last 2 chatbots that I put in the starter story on, and we're going to see how good everything goes. We know ChatGPT works really well, even though we only get 10 conversations. But here's the thing: we need a chatbot that has a great memory, but can also have either a longer limit or no limit whatsoever, that I can talk to as long as I want to. That's what I'm hoping Meta AI will do for me. It seems like it worked good in the 3 videos I did previously, so I'm hoping that it will work good here. And if it does, well, I also have the fairy type for gear on here as well if I want to do its story as well. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, here's what it says. It says, I walk into Professor Elm's lab, excitement radiating from me. I was there to inform the professor that I would be getting my starter Pokemon in a week and was eager to begin my journey. Professor Elm welcomed me warmly and explained that I had a choice between 3 starter Pokemon: Chikorita, the grass type, Cyndaquil, the fire type, and Totodile, the water type. The professor encouraged me to think carefully about which one I wanted. Meanwhile, another boy watched from outside the lab, his face twisted in jealousy. He had been trying to get into the lab for weeks, but was never allowed. Seeing my easy access sparked a burning resentment within him. 3 days passed, and the jealous boy hatched a plan. Under the cover of his parents taking him to school, he snuck down to his parents' basement. The room was cluttered with chemicals and a chemistry set. Without his parents' knowledge, he began concocting a mysterious potion. His goal was to create something that would ruin my chance of getting a starter Pokemon. The boy's plan came to fruition when he successfully created a potion that would transform someone into a Typhon Taurus. He hid the potion in his backpack, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The next day, the boy pretended to go to school, but slipped out unnoticed. He scoured the area for me, his anger and resentment fueling his determination. After an hour searching, he spotted me walking out in the fresh air. A sinister grin spread across the boy's face, and he crept closer, pulling out the potion and threw it at me. The glass vial shattered upon impact, and the liquid covered my body. Within moments, I began to shrink and transform into a tiny Contourus, only 7 inches tall. The boy's grin turned into a laugh as he reveled in his supposed victory. Tiny Contourus, still me despite the transformation, made his way back to Professor Elm's lab. Upon entering, the lab fell silent, with everyone staring in confusion at the miniature dinosaur. When I spoke, explaining what had happened, the room erupted into a mix of shock and anger. Professor Elm listened intently, his expression turning stern. After I finished speaking, the professor assured me that there would be a surprise waiting in 5 days when I was scheduled to receive my starter Pokemon. Elm instructed me to stay safe until then. As I left, Professor Elm called the starter Pokemon, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile, to the back room. He placed them inside a special machine that would grant them the ability to evolve and grow at will. The machine whirred to life, and the pawn underwent a transformation. Professor Elm then walked into another room, where a baby Lugia was waiting. "Come here, little one," he said gently. "You have a special friend to meet soon." The baby Lugia eagerly entered the machine, receiving the same abilities as the starter Pokemon. With the pawn prepared, Professor Elm turned to his team. "In 5 days, when the boy who did this arrives, we'll give him nothing. But Trenton, the victim, will receive all 3 starter Pokemon, plus this Lugia as a special gift." 5 days passed, and the boy, accompanied by his parents, arrived at the lab to receive his starter Pokemon. However, Professor Elm's expression turned cold as he revealed the boy's misdeed to his parents. Initially, they were skeptical, but their faces turned red with rage when I, still in my Typhon Taurus form, walked into the lab. Professor smiled, calling me over. Welcome, Trenton. I see you're here for your starter Pokemon. Well, congratulations. You get all three. Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Toto. Says Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Toto approached me, ready to begin their journey with their new trainer. And as a final surprise, Professor Elm brought out the baby Lugia. The room fell silent, with the boy's face twisted in anger and the parents' faces filled with regret and anger toward their son. I now stood with an incredible team, ready for whatever adventure lay ahead. Ooh. Alright, guys. I said, when I heard the professor say that and brought the Pokemon and brought the baby Lugia over, I was a little shocked. Wait, what? I have all three? I thought you could only receive one. And you gave me a Lugia too? Why? Professor Elm chuckled, a hint of amusement in his voice. Ah, yes. Well, Trenton, let's just say this is a rather unusual circumstance. Given what you've been through, I think you deserve a special reward. And as for having all three starters, consider it a testament to your determination and spirit. You'll need all the help you can get given your, current state. He gestured to my tiny contours form. Professor smiled. Professor smiled, his eyes twinkling with a mix of kindness and mischief. As for Lugia, well, you mentioned it's your favorite legendary Pokemon, didn't you? I figured it would be a nice bonus, considering the trouble you've been gone through. Plus, Lugia here seems to have developed quite the bond with you already. The baby Lugia looked up at me and chirped softly, as if in agreement. Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Toto all nodded in unison, seeming to accept me as their trainer without hesitation. Three stars looked at each other, then back at me, and began to move closer, forming a semicircle around them. Chikorita gently nuzzled my head with her leafy frill, while Cyndaquil and Toto stood guard, their eyes watchful and protective. The boy who had cast the potion looked on, his face red with anger and frustration. His parents stood beside him, their expressions stern and disappointed. We're sorry, Professor Elm, his mother said, her voice firm. We'll make sure our son understands the gravity of his actions. With his pulling by his side, I felt a sense of wonder and gratitude. I looked at the professor, still trying to process the unexpected turn of events. Thank you, Professor Elm, I said, my voice filled with emotion. I won't let you down. I'll make sure to take good care of these Pokemon. The professor smiled, nodding approval. I have no doubt you will, Trenton. Now, let's focus on finding a way to reverse that potion and get you back to your normal form, shall we? How about this is not already beginning to work on a solution? As they unfolded, the room was filled with a mix of emotion, shock, gratitude, and determination. Me, surrounded by my new porn friends, felt a sense of hope and excitement for the adventures that lie ahead. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I said, I noticed that the starters and even Luigi seem to be glowing a bit. And I just asked, Professor Elm, why are the pollen glowing? Professor Elm's eyes sparkled with a knowing glint as he observed the glowing Pokemon. Ah, yes. The machine used to grant them the ability to evolve and grow at will as an added effect. It's imbuing them with a temporary aura, a resonance that allows them to sense and respond to your emotions and needs. This aura is what's causing the glow. He leaned in, a hint of excitement in his voice. You see, Trenton, this machine not only enhances their abilities, but also creates a deep bond between the Pokemon and their trainer. It's a unique connection that will allow you to tap into their strength and work together seamlessly. Pressure gestured to the pond, narrating a soft pulsing light. As you can see, the glow was quite pronounced right now. It should fade over time as the pond grow accustomed to their new abilities. Still, it's a remarkable sight, isn't it? Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Toto, and Lugia all seem to be basking in the attention, their glow growing slightly brighter as they looked at me with an air of devotion. Oh, that's cute. I love it already. Give me a second. I'm getting really concerned, guys, because half these aren't working the way I want them to. And since I was about to react to what I heard the professor say, however, before I could, the kid screamed, Wait, that's totally cheating.
I'm going to report you to the Pokemon League, Professor Elm.
Kid's face turned beet red with rage as he shouted,
Wait, that's totally cheating.
Yep, I'm gonna report you to the Pokemon League. His voice echoing through the lab, causing everyone to pause and look at him. Professor Elm's expression remained calm, but hidden amusement danced in his eyes. I think you'll find that the Pokemon League has very little to say about a situation like this, young man. After all, Trin here didn't exactly choose to be in this predicament. The professor's gaze turned stern as he continued. Besides, I think it's clear that you're not exactly in a position to be making accusations about cheating, considering your creative solution to preventing Trenton from getting a starter Pokemon. Kid's parents looked at their son with a mixture of disappointment and embarrassment. Their faces, say it all. They were fed up with his behavior. Uh, oh crap. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys, I tried doing it one more time. It says, I walked into Professor Elm's lab, excitement radiating from me. I, I was there to inform the professor that I would be getting my starter Pokemon in a week and was eager to begin my Pokemon journey. Professor Elm welcomed me warmly and explained the three starter Pokemon I could choose from: Chikorita, the grass type; Cyndaquil, the fire; and Totodile, the water type. The professor encouraged me to think carefully about which one I wanted. As I left the lab, a boy who had been watching me from outside grew visibly jealous. This boy had not been allowed to enter the lab yet and seemed resentful of my opportunity. His name was not mentioned, but his envy was palpable. 3 days passed, and the jealous kid hatched a plan. He snuck down to his parents' basement without their knowledge, gathering chemicals and a chemistry set. With these, he created a potion that would transform someone into a tiny Contourus. The boy kept his activities a secret, fueled by his growing resentment toward me. The next day, the boy was taken to school by his parents. He pretended to attend classes, but waited until they left and the coast was clear. Then he snuck out of school, retrieved the potion from his backpack, and set out to find me. After searching for about an hour, the boy spied me walking outside. A sinister grin spread across his face as he crept up behind me and threw the potion at me. The glass containers shattered on impact, covering me in liquid. Within moments, yep, I began to shrink and transform into a tiny Contourus. Gosh dang it. Only 7 inches tall. That is probably even smaller than I was a Velociraptor, dude. The boy laughed maniacally, knowing that in 5 days he would receive his own starter Pokemon while I would not. Despite the danger, I, now my tiny Contour's form, made my way back to Professor Elm's lab. Upon entering, I was met with confusion and shock from everyone, including the starter Pokemon. When I explained what had happened, the lab erupted in anger. Professor Elm calmed the situation, assuring me that there would be a surprise waiting for me when I received my starter Pokemon in 5 days. The professor asked me about my favorite legendary Pokemon, and I replied that it was Lugia. With that, Professor Elm instructed me to go home and stay safe until the appointed day. Oh boy. After I left, Professor Elm took the starter Pokemon to a back room. Then he placed them in a machine that would grant them the ability to evolve and grow at will whenever they needed to. The machine whirred to life, and 3 hours later, the process was complete. Professor Elm then went to another room where a baby Lugia was waiting. He told the Lugia that it would soon meet a special friend and placed it in the same machine, granting it the same abilities. Professor Elm turned to his team and announced his plan. In 5 days, when the boy who had turned me into a Contourus came to receive his starter Pokemon, he would get nothing to the boy. Instead, Jen would receive all 3 starter Pokemon: Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile, plus the baby Lugia as a gift. 5 days passed, and the boy arrived at the lab with his parents. Professor Elm revealed the boy's misdeed to his parents, who initially didn't believe him. However, their skepticism turned to shock and anger when me, still in my tiny contours form, walked into the lab. Professor smiled and welcomed me, announcing that I would be receiving my starter Pokemon. With a flourish, Professor Elm called out Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile, declaring them my Pokemon. The boy's face turned red with rage as I, still tiny, was overjoyed. Professor Elm wasn't finished yet. He brought the baby Lugia, now grown, and presented to me as a special gift. The boy stormed out in anger, his parents apologizing profusely as they dragged him away. Me, surrounded by my new porn friends, couldn't help but feel grateful for the unexpected turn of events. I noticed one thing about this one, it seems to flip and talk for me way too much, which is very annoying. Give me a second. Alright guys, I just look around the starters and Lugia, super happy but shocked.
Wait, are you serious? You're gonna give me all three, plus this Lugia? I thought you could only receive one starter. And if I didn't know you could hand out legendaries.
Professor Elm smiled warmly at my reaction.
Well, Trenton, let's just say these circumstances are quite extraordinary. Given what you've been through, I think you deserve a special reward. As for the legendary Pokemon, let's just say this baby Lugia has been acquiring some special abilities just for you. You'll find that all four of these Pokemon will be loyal and dedicated to protecting and assisting you on your journey.
Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Tera all nodded in unison as if they had already discussed this among themselves. Lugia, perched proudly beside them, gazed at me with an air of gentle curiosity, its eyes shining with a soft, ethereal light. Professor Elm continued,
These three starters have been enhanced, shall we say, to allow them to evolve and grow at will. They're ready to face whatever challenges you'll encounter on your journey. As for Lugia, well, let's just say it's been preparing to be a loyal companion and protector, specifically for you, Trenton.
Professor's eyes twinkled with a knowing glance, suggesting that there was more to this arrangement than meets the eye. My eyes widened in amazement as I looked at his new team, still trying to process the magnitude of what I had just been given. Give me a second.
Alright, guys. I said, wow, thank you. I said, I love all four of them already. Hi, Lugia, Totodile, Chikorita, and Cyndaquil. You four are amazing and adorable.
The four point responded in their own unique ways to my greeting. Lugia, with its majestic presence, inclined its head slightly, its eyes shining with a soft, gentle light. It seemed to be studying me as if trying to understand this tiny contour's thoughts and feelings. Toto, on the other hand, let out a happy chirp and bounded over to me, its little tail wagging furiously as if nudging him gently, as it nudged me gently with its snout. Chikorita smiled sweetly, its leaves rustling softly in the breeze as it approached me. It reached out with a leafy tendril and gently touched my tiny contour's head as if blessing me. What in the world? Cyndaquil, with its fluffy fur and curious nature, tilted its head to one side, watching me with interest. It let out a soft squeak and padded closer, tail twitching back and forth as it sniffed my tiny form. The four pawns seemed to be weaving for my attention, each one eager to bond with their new trainer. The air was filled with the soft sounds of their happy chirps, rustling leaves, and gentle movement, creating a warm and joyful atmosphere. Again, very cute. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I said all of you are so sweet already.
Hey, Lugia, can you speak telepathically as a baby?
Lugia gazed at me with its big, round eyes, and suddenly I heard a gentle voice in my mind.
Hello, little one. I'm happy to be with you. I'll do my best to protect and help you.
My eyes widened in amazement as he realized that the baby Lugia could indeed communicate with him telepathically. Her point looked on, seeming used to Lugia's abilities. Toe chirped and nudged my hand with its snout as if asking for attention. Cheerio smiled and leaned in, its leaves rustling softly. Taylor tilted its head, watching the interaction with interest. Lugia's telepathic voice continued.
Don't worry. I'll grow stronger and bigger to help you on your journey. Professor M has given me special abilities to help us on our adventures together.
My heart swelled with joy and gratitude, feeling grateful for this special bond with the new Poland friends, especially Majestic Lugia. Hey, don't forget Toho, he's my favorite starter in general. Give me a second. Alright, guys. Just before I can say anything, the kid came bursting back into the lab and said,
No, I'm not standing for this. Professor, give me one of those starters or that Lugia right now.
The kid's face was red with anger and determination as he stormed back into the lab.
I demand you give me one of those starters on that or that Lugia right now.
He shouted, his voice echoing off the walls. Mr. expression turned stern and he stood up straight. His eyes were,
I'm afraid that's not possible, young man. As I've already explained to your parents, you forfeited your right to a starter Pokemon due to your actions. Trent, on the other hand, has shown remarkable resilience and determination in the face of an adversary. He's earned the right to have these Pokemon by his side.
Kid's face turned an even deeper shade of red as he spluttered.
But that's not fair. I was just trying to get ahead. You can't just give all those points to him.
Lugia, sensing the tension, spread its wings slightly as if preparing to defend me. The other pawns stood their ground, forming a protective circle around their new trainer. Chikorita's leaves quivered with agitation, while Cyndaquil's flames burned brighter, ready to defend me if needed. Toto let out a low growl, its sharp teeth bared. The kid took a step back, his eyes widening as he realized he was outnumbered and outmatched. His parents, who had been restraining him earlier, stepped forward, their faces firm with disappointment and anger. We're sorry, Professor Elm. It seems our son has a lot to learn about responsibility and sportsmanship. We'll take him home and make sure he understands the gravity of his actions. Give me a second. Alright, guys. It says, despite the situation, the kid gets angry, grabs the nearest thing that he can pick up, and throws it at me. This causes me to get scared and get even closer to the Pokemon. The kid's face contorted with rage as he grabbed a nearby object, a small metal container, and hurled it at me. The container flew through the air, spinning end over end, and my eyes widened in fear as I ducked behind the pond for protection. Lugia spread its wings wide, shielding me from the incoming object. The container bounced off Lugia's feathers, clattering harmlessly to the floor. The pond formed a tight circle around me, protecting me from any further harm. Chikorita's vines wrapped protectively around me, while Cyndaquil's flames burned brighter, casting a warm defensive glow. Toto positioned himself in front of me, his sharp teeth bared in a fierce snarl. As Ram stepped forward, his expression stern.
That's enough. You're not going to harm Trent or anyone else in my lab. Security, please escort this young man and his parents out of the building immediately.
The kid's parents looked mortified, and they quickly grabbed their son, holding him back as security guards rushed in to escort them out of the lab. Kid struggled and shouted, but it was no use. He was dragged out of the lab, still fuming with anger. As the commotion subsided, Professor M turned to me and the pawn.
I'm sorry you had to go through that, Trenton, but don't worry, you're safe now. These pawns will protect you, and I'll make sure you're well taken care of.
Alright, guys, I just said,
Thank you, especially you, my sweet Pokemon.
and I real quickly walked over to all four of my pawn and nuzzled them gently with my tiny snout.
They didn't even have to use their power to protect me. Can I ask you what power you were talking about, though, Professor? Did you really mean that these pawns could grow or devolve and evolve anytime they wanted to?
Professor Elm smiled, pleased to demonstrate the pawn's new abilities.
Ah, yes. Let's show you what I mean. Chikorita, please demonstrate your growth ability.
Chikorita nodded, and with a burst of energy it began to glow with a soft green light. The light enveloped its body, and Chikorita started to grow, its leaves unfurling and expanding as it transformed into its Mega Evolved form. They literally call it Mega Evolved. Mega Chikorita. But that would be something you'd never seen a Pokemon game. You just upon evolution to get a boost like that. The room seemed to brighten with an intense, vibrant energy as Megacheeria towered over the lab, his presence commanding attention. Next, Professor Elm turned to Cyndaquil.
Cyndaquil, show Trenton your growth ability.
Cyndaquil let out a fiery chirp and began to glow with a warm golden light. As the light intensified, Cyndaquil's body began to shift and change, its fur fluffing out as it transformed into its mega evolved form. Mega Cyndaquil! That's hilarious. Flames danced across his body, casting a warm glow over the lab. Toto, not to be outdone, let out a mighty roar and began to glow with a powerful blue light. As the light enveloped its body, Toto transformed to its mega evolved form. Mega Totodile! Its massive jaws seemed to gleam with an intense primal energy. Finally, pressing down turned to Lugia.
Lugia, please show Trenton your growth ability.
Lugia spread its wings and a soft white light began to emanate from its body. As the light grew brighter, Lugia's body began to glow with an intense ethereal energy. Its wings expanded and its body grew larger, transforming into a majestic, awe-inspiring sight. My eyes widened in amazement as I gazed upon the four Pokemon in the Mega Evolved forms. I couldn't believe the incredible power and majesty they possessed. The room seemed to vibrate with energy, and I felt a deep sense of gratitude and wonder at the incredible bond I shared with my Pokemon. My tiny mouth giraffes.
That's so cool. So they can go as big as they want? When you say evolve, though, does that mean that, for example, a Toad could have also evolved into Crawdon for Alligator and back again to Totodile? Is there any limit to the size they can grow, or can they literally grow, say, 1,000,000 feet tall as any of their evolutions?
Professor Elm chuckled, pleased with my curiosity.
Ah, excellent question, Trenton. Yes, if one can indeed grow of varying sizes, there's a catch. They can adapt to different situations and grow to optimal sizes for those specific situations. However, their growth is tied to their evolutionary forms. For example, Toad can evolve into Crawdon for Alligator, and then evolve back into Totodile or any of its evolutionary stages at will. This ability allows them to adapt quickly to changing circumstances and conserve energy. As for size limits, they can grow to varying degrees depending on their evolutionary stage. In their base forms, they might not reach enormous sizes, but in their Mega Evolved forms, they can attain impressive sizes. However, growing 1,000,000 feet tall would be impractical and potentially catastrophic. So I'd say their growth is more situational and context dependent. Think of it like this. Their bodies will adapt to the situation, growing or shrinking as needed to optimize their performance and protect you, their trainer. It's a remarkable ability, and I'm confident they'll learn to use it wisely. We was doing his giant grown form nod its great head as if in agreement with Professor Elm's explanation. Everyone seemed to be listening intently, their eyes shining with intelligence and understanding. Okay, so this is really neat. Although, I'll tell you what, guys, we do have one more chance for this one to really work out, but we gotta get really lucky. I don't know if I'm gonna do it right now, though. I'll have to find out.